This thing did not come in a very fancy labeled box. Figured it'd at least have a sticker and a picture on FARMMAC. Let's see, can we read it? FARMMAC chainsaw mill. Let's do some unboxing. Got some staples in here. Neotech FARMMAC chainsaw milling attachment. And the reason that this is the best in my opinion, especially for a longer bar, like 32 inch to 36 inch bar, the rails, the one piece solid guide rail. That is, in my opinion, the reason this is best for a longer bar, like 32 to 36 inches, because that's what I've always used for chainsaw milling. I love the solid one piece guide rails, if that's what you want to call them. Uh-oh, we can use them. Comes with some wedges. That's awesome. I can definitely use them for the milling. You definitely need these for milling. Also comes with tools to put this together. Alright, well, let's take all this out. But you got your tools, your hardware, your bolts, washers, everything you need to put it together. I brought my own wrenches that I use on the one that I already have. I'm using the same mill for about 2 years. One thing I'm noticing right out of the box is they made the numbers on here where you can read them a little better. Right. One thing I would say you need is some electrical tape. I'll show you why in a little bit. This is the one. I'm noticing things are a little different. I'm pretty sure this is also the FARMMAC mill. It looks identical. All the parts look identical. Besides, I'm noticing the handle's different. The handle grip is a little different. And then these numbers to adjust the mill to know what thickness you're milling here is quite a bit different. It looks like you can actually see it better on this one, on the newer one. I've been using this for 2 years. I love it. It's been great. I'm still planning to continue using it. I think I'm gonna use this one, keep it at set at 2 inches to do my 2-inch thick slabs for, you know, floor joist and other stuff that I'm using the 2x for. I'm gonna sit this here and use it as kind of a reference to put this one together. That way I don't need any directions or anything. I can just look at this, assemble it. This one I think I'm gonna use for my boards, milling boards like 1/2 inch, 1 inch, a little bigger, whatever. But I'm gonna mill boards with this one. It's brand new and accurate. And then I'm gonna do my 2x with that one from now on. I believe the old one, I paid $100 or more for it a couple years ago. Then I seen this new one on sale on Amazon for around 70 bucks. I hopped on it. I figured I got my $100 worth out of that one over the years, so I figured I'd go ahead and snatch up a new one. Well deserved, I do believe. Let's start assembling this thing. Got this bar here. Save that to the side. Save that to the side. Need this bad boy here. And this has got 2 holes on it for some reason. The old one only has 1. I'm not sure what's up with that. I guess you have a choice of which side you want to put this in. This side, we want it all the way to the edge here. And this one, we want this closer to here. Got some plugs for the ends. This bad boy here is going to be on the top here. So these, you have this square on here where they slide right in this rail. So slide those right in there. Lock that in place. Washers. Washers. Looks like we only have 2 lock washers, so we don't use those on there. And we got our bolts here. Same here. Slide this one down for that. Down for that. And we need 2 in here. Go. Add our washers on here. Oh, great. If there's a crack, they will fall through it. Pretty sides up. It seems like with these 2 holes here, it will come to 2 of these, so That's a little confusing. Definitely on this one, I do like it on this side. When I'm milling, I have my chainsaw here, your handle here. So I do also like this bar where you can push with the bar. A lot of the times I just push right here. I'm noticing they also made a little bit better of a design here because this one has a clamp. And that's why I was going to use black tape, because this thing sits there and vibrates and turns the whole time you're milling, and it makes a little bit of racket. So once I get this situated, I'm gonna try to put a wrap of black tape on here where it's in the center to give it kind of a anti-vibration gasket in there. Put that in here. Put our washers back in. And that looks like it's got a lock nut in that one there. So we're gonna put a lock nut right there. I'm gonna use one of these lock nuts on that one. And then we're gonna put this one back on here. This one is for where you have your chainsaw. This is what's gonna slide across the wood that you're milling. That's gonna be your guide. That's why it's rounded. So that's gonna slide around your wood, because as the chainsaw is cutting, it's gonna pull this towards the wood. So you want this facing inward. Let's see here. And you gotta flip this around. We want our V facing outwards. And then we got our V here facing inward. It's good to have them the same, that way when you're tightening and loosening, it's on the same side. All right, we getting it. So these here are what's going to sandwich your bar. We want these to match. Both of the guides there. Alright, and you want your adjustment numbers on the same side as this one. You want to make that match, because it looks like you could put this one either way you want, but you definitely want your numbers to match. So that's kind of something you might want to keep an eye on there. Go ahead and snug these a little bit. These are lock nuts, so they take a while to get on there. You can't really do it by hand unless you have real strong hands. I'm gonna be milling. Oh, it's already so tight I can't move it. These you do not have to snug much at all to stop this from moving. I think I'm gonna go 1 1/8 on this mill. On these boards I'm about to mill today, I think I'm gonna go 1 1/8. Make sure I got that right. 1 You don't have to tighten those, just snug. I mean, there's no way you can move that now. And your height adjustment is gonna be on the top of this part, this V here. So we're gonna do this one the same way. Go ahead and snug that in place. This helps. You can make this a little faster with a drill, but we got time. All right. Loosen that one. We already got it too tight. All right. There's 1 1/8. Go. That's tight. Now we're going to square this up. I want this all the way to the edge here. And I want it perfectly square as I can get it. There we go. Same thing here. once you tighten it, it should square itself up. Mostly, it's good to get it as square as you can get it. It don't really have to be perfectly square because this is just a flat surface anyway. The more square you get it, the better. Them lock washers, they take a while to tighten down. I mean, lock nuts take a bit to get it down there. Alright, we are. Oh yeah, that's pretty tight. There we go. Now is when you want to put your saw in here, depending on what size bar you're using. You're gonna want to use your saw to figure out where you want these to sit. Pretty much want your saw almost touching. I keep it out just a little bit where it's not touching, and then you got your roller here, so you want to make sure that this does not clamp down on your roller. So you want to keep it back a little bit. So we're going to go about right there. That way our roller can freely spin and it's not pinched. And now we can tighten this down. Square that up. It's off the roller. Square on this side already. There we go. Nice and tight. So now you got this bar here. You don't want it too close to your muffler here, or your saw, so you want to leave that in some. Now we're gonna see if we can do an anti-vibration gasket in here. So we want that about right there. Couple wraps. Two wraps is too much. Alright, we're taking the 2 wraps off. We're just going to wrap it one time. Even then it don't want to go in there. So they definitely made it tighter on this one. Because that does not want to go in there at all. A little bit. Yeah, I guess you could twist it in there a little bit. As long as you get some rubber in there, I think that'll help a lot. So we're just gonna kind of force that in there, which seems to be working. It kind of, as I'm spinning it, is kind of cutting it off some and leaving some in there. So yeah, that's gonna help a lot. I wish I had a little bit of Loctite to put on these. That might be something I end up adding so they don't vibrate out. All right, that's pretty tight. Use this wrench here, see if I can put a little more pressure. Definitely want these tight so they don't come out. Oh yeah. All right, we're assembled. You do have the option to add this on the end to, it's kind of just a safety thing to protect something, your tip, from hitting stuff or even possibly throwing saw chips out. In my opinion, it's just something to collect bar oil and wood chips and get caked up, something you'll be cleaning all the time. So I don't use it. I've been using this one for a couple years without it, so I see no need in that. So now all we got to do is tighten down our saw. Your clamps here, you want to make sure that is directly in the middle of your bar. I'm noticing that these are a little less wide than the new one. The new one is quite a bit wider. I don't like that. I actually don't like that. That is real close to the edge of your bar, real close to your chain. I do prefer the width of these. These, let me see here. The old one is 1 3/4 inches. The new one is 2 1/4 inches. Wow, what a difference they did on that. That is, in my opinion, that's a little too big, but it looks like it fits in there enough not to pinch your chain. But you got to be real careful. It looks like on this one, when you're removing your saw and clamping down your saw, if you want to make the job a lot less frustrating and a lot faster and a lot less frustrating, get you a 1/2 inch ratchet wrench. It'll save your life, save a lot of time. I'm gonna line that up right in the middle of our bar there, as much in the middle as we can get it. This is a tight little space in here, so I'm gonna snug this one until it just barely gets tight. Switch over to this one. Some bigger washers are definitely ideal, because when you're clamping this bar in here, you do want to put quite a bit of torque on it. I have had this bar move in here from not having it tight enough before. If your chain slides and hits that clamp, you're going to mess your chain up. So you definitely want to torque these quite a bit. to stop it from sliding. I never thought of this before, but it would actually be ideal to add some maybe some sticky Gorilla Tape or something in there, kind of to help give it a little bit of traction, so you could do less tightening and have better grip, possibly. I might experiment with that. I don't know why I've never thought of that after milling for all this time. Trying not to over tighten this until I put some bigger washers in here. We should be good there. I never stripped one of these bolts in the old one until recently. So it seems like they hold up pretty good. Looks like we have a few extra lock nuts, a few of the other nuts, 2 extras of these, 2 extra washers. We're pretty set up. The only thing I see about this is I think it should have came with 2 of these bars. I think it would have been real nice to have 2 of them in there, have different places to hold it. But we are set up. We are set at 1/8 of an inch. This is the MS391. It seems to mill very good. But the bigger the better. The faster you want to mill, the bigger the better for sure. I sharpened this thing this morning, so we're ready to mill some boards. Actually, I think I'm gonna put these, yeah, I still have them in the top of my old one here. That's what they're for, the top there. So yeah, we're definitely putting those in here. Oh yeah, that'll stop stuff from piling up in there for sure. Wow, we got a brand new mill to saw with today. So I'm ready to rip some boards this morning and see how this thing does. I'm excited. So we're gonna get us some fuel and oil in this thing. We're gonna crank this bad boy up and rip some boards with a brand new mill. And I'm excited to have one to cut boards with, and then one to do my 2x. Way less adjusting. I take the saw out of the mill so much anyway to sharpen it that it's just easier to just stick it in another mill rather than adjusting the mill all the time. So it's gonna benefit me a lot to have 2 of them now. So there we go. That's the unboxing, the assembly, adding the saw in there, the height adjustment. Now it's time to mill. So here's our height adjustment here. Still a little tough to see. You could actually use a Sharpie if you wanted to mark your usual height adjustments. So then we have it on that side. So then we made sure that we have it on this side over here. But as you can see, that's a whole lot easier to see. Let me see, I have this one on the opposite side. But the new one compared to this one, I have to say I actually do like the old one, the old style, better. I haven't used it yet, but I'm thinking I'm thinking these grooves might get old after a little bit. I think I do actually prefer that handle. Everything else seems like the same. This is a new design on here, how it doesn't clamp. You just have this wing nut that goes straight down onto the round bar here. The old one here actually clamps, and it never held good. It's always rattled and turned, moving in and out, so I ended up adding a self-drilling screw on each side to stop it from sliding in and out all the time. Other than that, pretty much identical. So I can say that I'm really gonna appreciate this thing. Noticing something messed up already. That is 1 3/8, not 1 1/8. So these measurements are off. Off the bat, I already see that the measurements are off here. I guess our first rip's gonna be 1 3/8 when I just wanted 1 1/8. Already started to cut, so I think we're doing a 1 3/8. we go, first cut. I guess there's some reason I needed a 1 3/8 board. Looks like the face that was in this kind of had a face design. It kind of disappeared. But these are still some very pretty boards. I guess now I got to play with this thing and see if I can get it. I guess I'm going to try to get it down to 1 inch and cut some more boards out of this thing. But I don't need them that thick. Or, I don't know, maybe I do. I was thinking some of these could be some pretty nice, what do you call them? Charcuterie boards? Like the serving boards. I was thinking this tree would make some real nice serving boards. So, I wonder if I should keep them thick. Maybe I should do 2 cuts at that size, and then I'll adjust it down to the 1 1/8 that I wanted. Then I'll have some thicker ones and some thinner ones to play with. So that thing was cutting real nice, so I'm gonna do another cut until I notice it needs to be sharpened. Dang right. 2 1 3/8. Get out a tape measure here. 1 3/8. 1 3/8 on both sides. So I had it set for 1 1/8. So that means it's off by 2/8. I set it 1/8 less than 1. So plus 2/8 should be 1 1/8. Correct? I really wanted to give this a great review because the last one was working out amazing. I actually need to look this up and make sure that it's a FARMMAC. I thought it was by the looks of this one. Or FARMMAC, I mean. I said FARMMAC, I mean a FARMMAC. I was thinking that's a FARMMAC. Now I'm not sure. This might actually be a different brand. Just the differences of it. I really was planning on giving this a great review. The sawmill seems fine itself. Just the measurements being off. And then this one, there's a couple of them that you can't even see already, where they're not marked good at all. I have to say I'm a little bit unsatisfied. I'm not going to go through the trouble of returning this and shipping it back and all of that. It's definitely still going to get used. Now I'm kind of thinking I might end up actually using this set for my 2-inch beams to mill those. And then I think I might use the accurate one from now on to start milling boards. Let's do a couple more passes. And as you can see, it takes quite a while. Oak like this is probably one of the hardest woods to mill, but we are doing it, and we are right at 1 1/8 inch. It looks so nice when it's wet. Look at that. That kind of shows how it'll look sanded and finished. Not quite as nice, but that is beautiful. And then you can see when it dries a little bit and how it looks dark, probably with a clear coat on it. Wow. And it looks like we should get maybe 3 more. I'm not sure with the, the width of the chain, but it's looking close to 3 more boards. Maybe only 2 because of this round part. So maybe only 2 more boards out of this log. I'm gonna let the saw cool down. I might only do 1 more pass. Kind of slowed up on that pass. It was still cutting real good. So I think I'm gonna cut 1 more, then take it out the mill, give it a quick sharpen. The more you sharpen it, the less time you spend milling, really. So you trade it off. You could mill 2 more. The last one will probably be quite a bit slower than the others, or you could make up that time just by taking it out of the mill, giving it a quick fresh edge, and getting it in again. That's my review on the FARMMAC sawmill. I'd really like to know if the other one's a FARMMAC or not, but there's no way for me to tell because I do believe, if I remember right, I actually looked at my orders and that one is not in my orders on Amazon. So I'm thinking that that was actually a gift that someone bought me. So there's no way for me to look it up to see what kind it is, unfortunately, because I'd really love to have that exact one again. I really like that one quite a bit more than this one, but this one's gonna get used a whole lot. Both of them are. It is what it is. We're gonna continue on milling. After I finish this log, I don't know about this other log. It's looking a little crazy shaped over here. This guy right here's got some crazy parts in it. I'll have to give it a good look and decide whether I want to do a face cut and mill. As you can see, it's cracked 2 ways in the end, so this might just end up being some firewood. But other than that, I'm gonna put this camera down, get back to milling, sharpen this thing, do another cut, and then I'm gonna probably go over and start milling some other stuff. Get back to the shop build real soon, hopefully. Start getting this foundation done so I can start working on the roof.